Which one comes out better? All right, so are there any values of x that would make this equation true, that quantity x plus 2 and quantity times quantity y plus 2 and quantity equals xy plus 4? No? I have one vote for no. I have 2 votes for no. Do you have any reasoning?
If you're like distributing or multiplying, wouldn't you also have to put like y or 2y and so you would have like
Okay. All right, do you guys understand what she is saying? She's saying if you have a 2-term polynomial, this is called a binomial, multiplied by another binomial, when you would distribute, you would have x times y, okay? Then you would have x times 2, which would be 2x. And then underneath, you can do 2 times y plus 2 times 2, which is 4. So compared to the other side, which says xy plus 4, are these the same? If they're not the same, how could they get closer to being the same? Okay. I could try. Well, I'm not trying to solve for anything. I'm just trying to, well, maybe we are. I guess I haven't looked at it like that. But what's missing from the right-hand side that I have on the left-hand side? Yeah, these 2 terms, right? If they're missing from the right-hand side, what would you suspect that x and y should maybe be equal to? If 2x is over here and I don't have it over here, what is x equal to? It would seem to be 0, right? And 2 times 0, that's why it's zeroed out over here. And what about for 2y? You think y, what if y is 0, then 2 times 0 is 0, so it wouldn't be over there, except that they do also have x times y. And if they were both 0, then 0 times 0 would be 0, and we wouldn't even have that term up there, okay? If you look at the picture here, they're telling you, this is x times y right here. That's the area. This is 4. What happened over here? It's gone. So this tells you y probably should be equal to 0 here, and 0 times 2 gives you 0. And over here, if there is nothing there, that this x value probably is 0, and 0 times 2 is 0. But the only problem is if they both are 0, like we said, then this space shouldn't be here either. So is that always true, sometimes true, or never true? Never true. Never true, because if x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0, then x times y should be equal to 0 too, and not be part of the recording started. Okay, does that make some sense? If x was equal to 0 and y was equal to 0, then we wouldn't have this term xy, because that would 0 out also. Okay? All right, so the bottom one, this bottom one, an identity is an blank that is blank true. What's this chapter about again? What's what's the chapter about? The whole chapter. First one was expressions. This chapter is about equations. And equation starts with an E. So an identity is an equation that is blank true. What do you think? Always, sometimes, or never? No? Always. Yes. So on that little pre-FAL quiz that we did not yesterday, I think it was last week. So you had something like this. And many of you, when the result came out as 2x minus 6, many of you did say, yeah, that's always going to be true. Okay? And it is. No matter what x gives you, that is always going to be true. So this is an identity because it follows what property? Distributive property. And some of you, when we had something like this, and it came up of 2x plus 6, some of you said, well, that's never going to be true because you knew it didn't follow the distributive property. Okay? So that's never true because it didn't give the correct result for following the distributive property. But irregardless, an identity is an equation that is always going to be true. Okay? So for today, I have you with a partner, someone who kind of closely thought like you did, as far as the number of correct answers that you both got on that quiz. You are going to work with your partner, and you should have 14 small, pale, buff-colored cards in front of you and a paper clip. You have to decide, as the two partners, if the equation is sometimes true, if the equation is never true, or if it is always going to be true. Okay? So I have the key. Give me just a minute. And I want you to put always in the first column. I want you to put sometimes in the second column. And never in the last column. Okay? So again, you and your partner are working together to figure out which category is this going to go in. Some of you have whiteboards on your desks. Some of you do not. If you do have a whiteboard, that just means the previous partner group that was at your table used a whiteboard to help them. Okay? So if you want to get more whiteboards, you can go to the back, grab a cloth, a marker, a whiteboard. Again, this is a 2-day activity. So once you get everything kind of figured out, raise your hand. I'll come around and I will give you a clue. Okay. Recording started. All right. I don't know why this is being all glitchy.